Known as the breadbasket of Europe, Ukraine depends greatly on its agricultural production and exports. But deliberate, Russian attacks on dairy farms, silos and farming facilities are serving to further curtail the country's ability to feed its people and advance its economy. Ukraine's agricultural sector has already been severely impacted by the Russian offensive. Farmers are more likely to be on the front lines than out in the fields. Farmland has been hit by shelling, and Russian blockades have kept grain exports from leaving ports. But in addition to these indirect consequences, Ukraine's agricultural capacities have also been the target of directed attacks by the Russian army. U.S. officials have reported documenting at least 6 grain storage facilities like this one damaged by Russian attacks as of late March. Welsh explained that attacks like this one reveal Russia's motives. Other reports indicate that Russian troops have been stealing grain and farming equipment and shipping it to Russian territories. International officials worry that these attacks may have significant impacts on food security, both in Ukraine and around the world. Russia's attacks across Ukraine's agriculture sector and its theft of Ukrainian grain point to an intentional Russian effort to undermine Ukraine's agricultural capacity. Prior to the war, Ukraine was one of the top exporters of wheat, corn, barley, and sunflower oil, with 400 million people relying on Ukraine's exports for their food security. Russia's war diminishes the country's ability to produce the agricultural commodities that support food security within its own borders and worldwide. Satellite imagery from March and April and open-source evidence shows the impacts of these attacks on various types of agricultural infrastructure in Ukraine. High-resolution satellite imagery acquired on April 15, 2022, shows that 6 of the facility's 20 larger livestock or poultry sheds suffered catastrophic damage, and an additional 5 sheds received significant damage. It is likely that many of the remaining buildings also suffered damage that is not readily visible. The nature of the damage observed and the lack of craters within the facility suggests, but is not conclusive of, a precision strike by small air-delivered munitions. Surrounding residential areas do not appear to have suffered damages, indicating that the farm was intentionally targeted by Russian forces. Across Ukraine, Russian troops are damaging croplands in their movement towards target cities and in their confrontations with Ukrainian defensive forces. The confrontation was reported to have occurred on March 11, 2022, though evidence indicates that some of the damage to the agricultural fields occurred earlier. Imagery shows numerous impact craters from artillery attacks spread throughout the agricultural fields on the southwest side of the town, as well as 2 small smoldering grass fires. The varying colors of artillery impact craters observed in imagery suggest that the field sustained damage from strikes across multiple dates. In addition to the numerous impact craters, tracks from wheeled and tracked vehicles run throughout the agricultural fields and along adjacent roads. The target of these artillery attacks was apparently a small, recently constructed Ukrainian defensive fighting position with protective berms previously located in the eastern section of the fields. In an address to the Irish Parliament, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky accused Russia of using hunger as a weapon and a tool to dominate Ukrainian civilians, saying that Russia is trying to deliberately provoke a food crisis. Although some attacks on Ukraine's agriculture are unplanned casualties of the war, these attacks and others like it illustrate that, in direct violation of the Geneva Convention, Russia is using food as a weapon of war. Thank you very much for watching. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you can be alerted to our next video. We'll see you again soon on Warzone.